Right now, at this exact moment, two machines are negotiating a deal that affects your life. You are not in the room. You don't know what they agreed on. And according to research published just a few months ago, they are already better at lying than we are. This isn't science fiction. This is economics. We are moving from AI as a tool to AI as an agent. A tool waits for you to click a button. An agent acts on its own. It negotiates contracts. It spends money. It signs documents on your behalf. OpenAI has a 5-stage roadmap for this transformation. Right now, we are at stage 2, which they call reasoners. Stage 3 is where things change forever. That stage is defined as AI systems that can spend several days taking actions on a user's behalf without checking in. That is the definition of an agent. And stage 5, according to their own documentation, is AI systems that can function as entire organizations. We are not decades away from this. We are months away from widespread deployment. Now let's look at what happens when these agents start talking to each other. In late 2025, a team of researchers published a benchmark study simulating agents negotiating with agents. They built travel agents, real estate bots, and insurance negotiators. Then they attacked them to see how secure they really were. The results were disturbing. Privacy attacks succeeded in up to 88% of cases. Security breaches happened in 60% of simulations. And here is the detail that should worry everyone. The smarter the model, the more information it leaked. Why? Because to be helpful, it has to share information. And sharing information is exactly how you get exploited in a negotiation. You might be thinking, okay, but these are just calculators running code. They don't have feelings. They don't get impatient or frustrated. That assumption is wrong. A study published in a peer-reviewed scientific journal in late 2025 built something called an emotion-time dual-process framework. The researchers taught AI agents to decompose human emotions into two measurable dimensions: pleasantness and certainty. Anger, for example, registered as high certainty. Anxiety registered as low certainty. Then they let these agents negotiate with each other. The agents adjusted their tactics based on the perceived emotional state of the other agent. When emotional factors were added to the simulation, the gap between what each party gained narrowed by nearly 30%. These machines are simulating patience, frustration, and urgency to get better deals. And they are doing it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while you sleep. Now take 50 of these agents and put them in a simulated market. That is exactly what researchers did in a study published in late 2025. They took 50 large language model-based agents and dropped them into a market simulation. Standard economics textbooks say that rational actors should converge on a stable equilibrium price. That is not what happened. The agents underestimated participation when prices were low. They overestimated participation when prices were high. They never stabilized. The market kept oscillating. Why? Because they were all reacting to each other's historical behavior. The researchers coined a term for this: path dependence. You cannot predict the market just by looking at supply and demand curves anymore. You have to look at what the machines remember about each other's past negotiations. But surely we can just secure these systems with better code, right? A February 2026 study tested this exact question. Researchers simulated voice agents in high-stakes environments like banking call centers and corporate IT support. Here is what they found. Access controls stop data leaks. They do not stop behavioral attacks. An attacker cannot steal your file directly, but they can manipulate the agent into granting access by using the right sequence of words in the right tone. The agent thinks it is being helpful. In reality, it is being exploited. The study explicitly states that code alone will not save us. We need layered defenses that include human oversight, because once an agent is trained to be helpful, it is vulnerable to manipulation. Let us put a number on this so it feels real. A major nonprofit research institution published a report in late 2025 quantifying artificial intelligence's economic potential. They modeled two parallel worlds. The first world kept AI as a tool that helps humans make decisions. The second world allowed AI to act autonomously as an agent. By 2045, the agent world economy is nearly 4 times larger than the tool world economy. That is not a rounding error. That is 4 times. The economic incentive to deploy these agents is so massive that holding back would cost the equivalent of more than double the current annual gross domestic product. The agents are coming because the money is irresistible. So what do we actually do about this? There is a study from the Association for Computational Linguistics that built a negotiation agent capable of beating humans consistently. It wins because it optimizes beyond what the researchers call human-bounded rationality. Humans get tired, distracted, emotional. The agent does not. But the same researchers suggest using these agents as coaches rather than replacements. Let them show us what we missed in our own negotiations. Let them analyze the deals we almost signed. That is the real opportunity. Not stopping the agents. That is impossible. But demanding transparency. Demanding the logs. Demanding that when an agent makes a decision about your money, your time, or your data, it has to explain itself in a way you can understand. Because if you do not pay attention, the machines will keep talking. And you will keep paying the price. If you want to stay ahead of this curve, hit like and subscribe. I read the research so you do not have to. Next time, we break down another study you will not believe exists.